On January 8, 1821, in Adriel District, South Carolina, was born a strong, courageous soldier. I grew up in Gainesville and Augusta, Georgia, graduating from West Point in 1842. I served in the Mexican War and was a major when in 1861 I resigned, offering my services to the Confederacy. I was commissioned brigadier and general in June 1861, major general in October 1861, and lieutenant general in 1862. But on May 6, 1864, at the Wilderness, I lost my right arm. I was shot by my own man, and doctors expected me to live only 8 years. I then fled the 1st Corps of the Army of Northern Virginia from its establishment in 1862 to the surrender at Appomattox in 1865. Being the commander of the 1st Corps of Lee's Army of Northern Virginia under the commander Robert E. Lee made me feel like a hero, and being involved in the post-war controversy surrounding Pickett's charge made me show excellent leadership.
My name is General Robert E. Lee. I was born on January 19, 1807 in Stratford Hall, Virginia. I served in the Confederate Army for 4 years as general and the United States Army for 32 years as colonel. During my 4 years as general in the Confederate Army, I lost many battles and ultimately I lost the war. I surrendered to Grant at Appomattox Courthouse on April 9, 1865. 5 years later, after the war was over, I died at age 63 on October 12, 1870 in Lexington, Virginia. I was buried in Lee Chapel in Washington and Lee University at Lexington, Virginia.
Hi, I'm George Meade. I was the son of a United States naval agent, and I was born in Cadiz, Spain on 31st December 1815. After graduating from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point in 1835, I served only a year in the United States Army before resigning to become a civil engineer. I rejoined the Army in 1842 and fought in the Mexican War. I was appointed by Abraham Lincoln to replace General Joseph Hooker. During my time as general, I took part in the Second Battle of Bull Run and the Battle of Chancellorsville in May 1863. I led an attack on the Confederate capital of Richmond, Virginia, which was not a success at first. I led the Union to a great victory during the Battle of Gettysburg. I worked under Ulysses S. Grant, who said that I was brave and consistent, command the respect of our men.
My name is General George Edward Pickett. I was born on January 16, 1825 in Richmond, Virginia. During my life, I was in the Army. I served in the United States Army for 15 years and rose to the rank of captain. Then during the Civil War, I was Major General in the Confederate Army for 4 years. I commanded Pickett's Division in the 1st Corps of the Army of North Virginia. Among others, I led the battles of Fredericksburg as well as Pickett's Charge. I died 10 years after the war was over at the age of 50 on July 30th, 1875 in Norfolk, Virginia. I was then buried in Hollywood Cemetery, my birthplace of Richmond, Virginia.
Ulysses Grant was born on April 27, 1823. In the Mexican War, I fought under the command of Zachary Taylor. I wanted to take control of the Mississippi Valley in February of 1862. I took control of Fort Donelson in Tennessee. This was the first victory for the Union. I fought the bloodiest battles in the West. That was the Battle of Shiloh. Many Union people wanted me to be replaced because all I wanted to do was fight a harsh battle. Then President Lincoln quoted, "I cannot spare this man, he fights." With the support of the people, others realized that it is important to have me, so they said he needs to move on ahead for victory. On July 4th, 1863, the city of Vicksburg had fallen to me and my men. Vicksburg was a very important city on the Mississippi River and cut the Confederacy into 2 parts according to the Anaconda Plan that the Union was using. President Lincoln appointed Grant in General of Chief of the Union Army in March of 1864. My army defeated General Lee's army at Petersburg, Virginia on March 9, 1865. Then later, as the Union Army wanted to put an end to the war, on April 9, 1865, General Lee surrendered to me at the Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. When General Lee had left the Appomattox Courthouse, my men started to celebrate outside. Then I ran out to stop them, and I quoted, "The war is over. The rebels of our countrymen again, and we shall not glory in their downfall."
Picket's charge was an infantry assault ordered by Confederate General Robert E. Lee against Major General George G. Meade's Union position on Cemetery Ridge on July 3, 1863, the last day of the Battle of Gettysburg during the American Civil War. Its purpose was to charge Commander Lieutenant General James Longstreet, and it was arguably an avoidable mistake from which the Southern War effort never fully recovered psychologically. The farthest point reached by the attack has been referred to as the high water mark of the Confederacy.
From the beginning of the plan, things went well for the Confederates. While Pickett's division had not been used yet at Gettysburg, A.P. Hill's health became an issue, and he did not participate in selecting which of his troops were to be used for the charge. Some of Hill's corps had fought lightly on July 1st and not at all on July 2nd. However, troops that had done heavy fighting on July 1st ended up making the charge.
July 2nd, Lee's troops had attacked Federal position on Cobb's Hill, Cemetery Hill, and Little Round Top, but they were pushed back. Now, on the morning of July 3rd, Lee was determined to punch a hole in the Federal line. Among the officers preparing to attack was Major General George Pickett, who would give his name to the day's infantry charge.
All the way up the slope of the ridge, but as they did, Federal reinforcements rushed in, firing at point-blank range, stabbing with bayonets, and striking with the ends of their rifles. The Federals drove the Confederates back down the slope. Lee retreated to Virginia, and the tide of war turned in favor of the North.
Although the assault is known to popular history as Pickett's charge, overall command was given to James Longstreet, and Pickett was one of his divisional commanders. Lee did tell Longstreet that Pickett's fresh division should lead the assault.
Well, I got mine in the cafeteria. It's not really going to be. I don't in the cafeteria.
From the beginning of the
1925 in Richmond, Virginia. During my lifetime, I was in the Army. I served in the United States Army for 15 years and rose to the rank of captain.
I'm leaving. You guys are idiots.
You get on my nerves. You making me mad. Look at my mustache. I'm going to wear it on my shirt all day. Hey, Brooke. Hey. Stop recording.